everybody. This is Marguerite Fair, and welcome to Laughter Talks. I'm very excited about today's show because we have a wonderful and special guest. Now, Roberta E. Bassin is known for her compelling portrayals of different and interesting characters in film, TV, and stage. And there are so many that it's hard to list them all. So go on to IMDb and check everything she does out. Now, she's a wonderful actress. I've known her a long time. And I have to say, one of Roberta's greatest joys as an actress and writer is her, what she has done is she has created and performs her own one-woman show, Amelia Earhart, in her own words. And she now has authored a companion book, Amelia Earhart, Me and Our Friends Journaling the Journey, the Amelia Earhart self-help book. And it's also very inspirational, and it is available on Amazon.com. It makes a great gift. Now, what's happening today is Roberta is waiting in our green room, and I'm ready for her to come out. Roberta is going to delight us with a special live performance within the show, and she's going to be reading letters written by Amelia Earhart about her feelings on life, her relationship with her mother, the way she felt about marriage. So you really get to see a part of Amelia Earhart that Roberta has brought to life. So let's go, and Roberta, we're coming at you. Well, I'm so, hi, Roberta. I just introduced you, and there you are. Thank you so much. And like I've been telling everybody, I'm so excited. This is a very special presentation art form that we're having today, because you are just the love story of for Amelia Earhart. So this is a special presentation. And Roberta E. Bassin, I would like to turn this over to you and just let us know what we're going to learn about Amelia Earhart.
Wow, I am so excited and honored to be presenting a new aspect that people may not know about Amelia Earhart. I have been doing and working, writing, performing, and talking about Amelia Earhart for over 25 years. Yeah. And people always said to me, you should write a book.
And you did, I have it.
Oh, thank you. There it is. Amelia Earhart, Me and Our Friends. And that's all of you out there. And today, you know, I would like to share with you all an aspect, as I mentioned, about Amelia. Amelia was a multifaceted woman. She is known mainly for being courageous and daring, for her flights, being the first female passenger to cross the Atlantic in 1928, and then the first woman to solo across the Atlantic in 1932. But there's another aspect, many aspects, and one of those is Amelia the writer. And her writings have really empowered me. And one of the famous writings that is known is a poem. She wrote poems, she wrote correspondence, she wrote articles, she wrote books. It's entitled Courage. And it is in my book amongst the letters and photos and journaling of my relationship to her, and I feel like her relationship to me. And there's this place for all of you to write in the book also.
And it's wonderful. It's really wonderful.
Courage is the price that life exacts for granting peace. The soul that knows it not knows no release from little things, knows not the livid loneliness of fear, nor mountain heights where bitter joy can hear the sound of wings. How can life grant a spoon of living, compensate for dull, gray ugliness and pregnant hate, unless we dare the soul's dominion? Each time we make a choice, we pay with courage to behold resistless day and count it fair. Oh, I love this poem. And every time I say it, it gives me courage, it gives me support.
It's an
It makes me
affirmation.
right, and it gives me bravery, like to be on the show today and relate to all of you. Um, Amelia Earhart, that was written in 1928 before she ever dreamed of becoming a famous woman of legend.
Mhm.
But also, like I mentioned, she enjoyed correspondence. And you'll see her many times in photographs curled up. She was very flexible and she was like a pretzel. And she would be curled up in a chair and you'll probably see some photos. And I'm going to go curl up in a chair and read to you some of her correspondence. So I'm going to
Thank
move
you.
my Amelia Earhart chair, which I use in my performances.
This is wonderful. This is such a treat, everyone. We're on a live show.
And move over here into a cozy, cozy chair. It's going to be the Amelia Earhart Cozy Lazy Boy. In 1965, her mother had moved out from an apartment in Berkeley, California. And apparently she left behind 4 boxes, which weren't discovered until 1975. And they were labeled Amelia Earhart. And those boxes contained much memorabilia her mother had saved. Amongst it were 100 letters, which I'm going to share a few of those today. But Amelia didn't need glasses. And I need to get a pair of eyeglasses.
We do.
I forgot. Her writings first started, the earliest letter we have is dated July 24th, 1901.
Wow.
She was 4 years old. And she wrote, "Dear Grandma, I got a stove with a tea kettle and pan, a doll and some books. I love you and thank you. Your loving, Millie."
Oh, how sweet.
And that really, I think, tells a lot about 4 years old. She was smart enough. She wrote this nice little letter. She was polite. Somehow, either she knew or she was taught you always send a thank you. And then we go to one of her most famous letters, which is probably the first prenuptial agreement ever written.
Oh my.
And it was written on February 22nd, 1931. Well, essentially, we're going to go over that letter. The letter that she wrote, which is her first prenuptial agreement.
Okay.
It was handed to her husband before their wedding, and it said, "Dear GPP, there are some things which should be writ before we are married. Things we have talked over before, most of them. You must know again my reluctance to marry, my feelings that I shatter thereby chances in work, which means most to me. I feel the move just now as foolish as anything I could do. I know there may be compensations, but have no heart to look ahead. On our life together, I want you to understand I shall not hold you to any medieval code of faithfulness to me, nor shall I consider myself bound to you similarly. If we can be honest, I think the differences which arise may best be avoided should you or I become interested deeply or in passing in anyone else. Please let us not interfere with each other's work or play, nor let the world see our private joys or disagreements. In this connection, I may have to keep some place where I can go to by myself now and then, for I cannot guarantee to endure at all times the confinements of even an attractive cage. I must exact a cruel promise, and that is that you will let me go in a year if we find no happiness together. I will try to do my best in every way and give you that part of me you know and seem to want. A.E. This letter, when it's been published, most of the time, there is one area, one portion of the sentence you do not see. And that is, if we can be honest, I think the difficulties which arise may best be avoided should you or I become interested deeply or in passing in anyone else. When you read between the lines and you really listen to these letters, you have a lot of thoughts and it may relate in your mind to a lot of different ideas. And in my book, I have something called Dear Reader pages. And those pages, if you can see, those pages allow you to journal along with Amelia and I and jot down your thoughts and or how her thoughts affect you, or how you can jot down maybe what your desires and passions are to move forward in your life. And I think it's a lot of fun, and people enjoy sometimes doing it together with their significant other or friend. Now, Amelia's mother was not very happy about this marriage. George Palmer Putnam was about 14 years older than her. He had 2 children, a 10-year-old son and a young adult son, and he was now a newly divorced man. He was not divorced when their affair began. A few weeks after her marriage, February 22nd, 1931, she wrote this letter to her mother. I am much happier than I expected I could ever be in that state. I believe the whole thing was for the best. Of course, I go on in the same way as before as far as business is concerned. I haven't changed at all and will only be busier, I suppose. I want you to come over as soon as you wish and see the apartment. I have 2 canaries, and you know I've wanted one for ever so long. You can stay here at the hotel in another room. I sent Muriel $2,500 promised. I hope it will mean a lot to her. That's her sister. I am asking Pidge, her sister, down here. Maybe we could have a blowout together before she becomes tied down, or is it obviously too late for her? Write your plans, your daughter, A. Amelia would have loved messaging system on cell phones. She abbreviates all the time, and she signs it YR period for your and DOTER for daughter A. Now, when you analyze this letter, first of all, marriage was not in her plans. So she is actually really acknowledging how happy she is. Secondly, how generous she is. She's always been extremely generous with her family, her friends, when she finally became a wealthy woman because of her fame. And thirdly, her mother did not come to visit for 6 months into their marriage. So you learn about that there is tension within the family, like any family, and her letters really revealed their personal relationship. And you learn a little bit more about that in her letter and also about her vulnerability. You know, we think of Amelia Earhart as so brave, as I mentioned before. She could do anything.
Yeah.
But just like you or me, she was a person, and she had her vulnerabilities. And so this letter dated 1932, November 4th, she writes, Dear Mother, I just returned from Chicago and Points West, where I've had one of my most interesting lectures. Everything went well. I flew and trained when necessary and did not attempt to go far by car. I shall be here 10 days and then start out in New England. GP is going with me to the most northern points, as I do not like the territory very well, as you know, and need moral support. I do not know what to say about you accompanying. I thought from one crack you made that you didn't really care to go. You said maybe it was just as well that you didn't go, since there would be no chance of you disgracing me, or words to that effect. I could hardly believe my eyes when you suggested you might like to take the children to California. I thought you never would care to see that land again. I am glad the box suited fits you. The nightie is for you and the robe. I'm sending slips to match when I get downtown. A. This letter is one of the most telling letters about her relationships with her husband, GP, her mother, her sister, and how she took care of the family. First of all, we finally hear her state that she really needed moral support. She needed moral support in she needed moral support to face crowds. She was a very private person. She apparently could fly alone across oceans, but to drive into dark forested areas might have been difficult. There was a different kind of uncomfortableness, possibly. Then we move on and we hear how she feels that her mother and her have this push-pull relationship, where you hear her mother's voice in this, that she's mentioning, well, let's be careful. She should be careful what she says. And Amelia has to deal with what the press is going to say, or how she feels, how Amelia feels, or how her mother feels. And then Amelia's always protective of her mother, her health, and she doesn't want her to take care of her sister's children to the detriment of her mother's own health. So it's a really interesting letter.
Yeah, they had a very close relationship. That's wonderful.
They did. And there is another little letter where she also mentions, Amelia mentions, that she is leaving on a yacht for Cherbourg, and she's meeting her husband in the morning, and then they're going to Paris. And she says, I thought I couldn't face coming home alone. And that was after she landed in Paris on her solo flight. She was going to face crowds, but she wanted her husband there to be with her. We move on to another, one of the letters I enjoy so much, and it's so much fun, is her mother is about to take a voyage to Europe. And Amelia has written her a very long letter with instructions. She writes, please don't down the Roosevelt administration. It's all right to be reactionary inside, but it is out of step with the times to sound off about the chosen people who have inherited or grabbed the earth. You must think of me when you converse. In all cases, be careful of reporters. They may find you out. Be cheerful with them and smile for photographs. The serious face in real life looks sour in print. The grinning face, moderately pleasant. We must always remember that. Don't express international opinions. Say you're on a quiet visit. Hope to fly across sometime. In England, talk of English things. France, French things. Don't praise Westminster and Paris. Look on cheerful side. Never tell of mishaps, lost baggage, cold mutton chops, runs in your hose. Then she goes on, and there's lots more in this letter. And part of it says, keep manicured and have your hair done every 10 days. Use Vince after every meal more often if you're not feeling well. If raining, don't wear kid gloves. They'll spot and be ruined. I have given you very decent stockings. After lying down with knees bent, loosen garters to decrease over knees. Do not yank any hose from the top. Remember, silk rots, so get the good use out of them. You must use them. And then she lists her out. She lists the clothes in the order they should be worn. Um, Most formal dress, gray with blue jacket. Then the blue net with the white fur jacket. The last is for a dinner dress. Save the gray for festive night. There always is one. And she ends it by saying, last, have a good time. And I thought of that. The woman, Amy Earhart, Amy Earhart raised two successful, good daughters. Muriel had a traditional life. She was a teacher. She married. She had two children. And she raised Amelia, who became an educated, world famous flyer and talented woman in many areas. But it all changes but privately, they do seem to have had a loving relationship and a caring one. And this poem, I think, really answers that question. And it was written by Amelia Earhart. To touch your hand or see your face today is joy. Your casual presence in a room recalls the stars that watched us as we lay. I mark you in the moving crowd and see again those stars. A warm night lent us long ago. We loved so then, we love so now. Amelia Earhart.
Oh, that's so pretty. That's just beautiful.
So I really am excited and happy to have just been able to share a few of Amelia's letters. And there's like I said, 100.
Wow.
And hopefully another time I'll be able to do that. You can read a number of her letters and see a pictorial history and our relationship and jot down and have fun exploring writing for your own enjoyment in my book, Amelia Earhart, Me and Our Friends. Get it on Amazon.com, which you can get everything on.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a good gift with Christmas coming and New Year's. A lot of people give New Year's gifts too. So it's a nice gift.
And, yeah, Boxing Day, where you can get the book and give it to somebody else. But anyways, I'm really happy to be able to share some with you.
Well, Roberta, thank you. That was just amazing. I love that because it really, makes her, like you said, vulnerable. You could see her vulnerabilities and her relationship with her mother and the way she was so strong and independent, the way she thought about marriage. And so it's really wonderful. And seeing your show was amazing too. So I appreciate this so much. Now, would you just let our audience know before we leave, if anyone would like to contact you, what's the best way to contact you?
You can contact me through Facebook, Roberta Bassin. I do have a website, robertabassin.com. And you can check me out on IMDb, which is the Internet Movie Database. So, and I'm on Twitter also.
See, this is wonderful because you're all over the place and we have to let everybody know that. Well, Roberta, my darling, I thank you. This has been wonderful. This is a very special show and I appreciate you and your friendship and how talented you are. And thank you so much. And happy holidays to you and to your family.
And happy holidays to everybody else. May 2021 be a healthy new dawn. Be well, be safe, and stay inspired.
Yes.
Inspires me also. Amelia inspires. We hope to inspire you all.
And your book is very inspirational in talking about her. So everybody has to get that. That's a good way to start the new year.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
and bye to Ned for being our tech guy. Okay. See you soon, Roberta. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Lovely and one-of-a-kind performance in learning more about Amelia Earhart through the letters and how she related to the world. Thank you so much. That was very special. And you can look for Roberta on IMDb, and you can, the book again is available on Amazon.com, Roberta E. Bassin. And you can get that and enjoy it. A great gift for the new year. Give it to all the women and men in your life so they know about empowered women. That's important. Now, everyone, thank you for tuning in to Laughter Talks. And remember, support your immune system. There's only one per customer, and that's very important. Wishing everyone a very happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and a healthy, joyful, and happy and prosperous new year. Mwah. See you soon.